Well, great day, everybody. My name is National Sales Director Amie Gamboian, and I have the privilege to be signing in today on this Google Hangout from Omaha, Nebraska. My husband Pete and I have been married for about 15 years, and we have two beautiful daughters. Victoria has just turned 14, and Juliana has, she will soon turn 8, actually, so she is 7.5. I'm so grateful to have the privilege to be with you today and to share with you just a little bit about my Mary Kay journey, my Mary Kay story. You know, in some ways it feels like it was just yesterday that I began my business, and in many ways it feels like it was a long time ago. You know, it feels like just yesterday because the excitement remains, the passion remains, my enthusiasm remains, my purpose for being a blessing in other women's lives remains. And yet it seems like it was yesterday, in that I've learned so much, I've grown so much, I've become such a better version of myself than I was all of those years ago when I was just beginning my business. And so let me take you back a little bit to my story. And my hope and prayer during this brief conversation today is that something that I say or share might just be a little nugget, just a little nugget for you that really speaks to you, that really makes a difference for you. And you know, I've learned in life that growth and progress is often the direct result of both thinking a brand new thought, just allowing ourselves to think a new thought, and secondly, in making a decision that relates to that brand new thought. So let me share with you 18 years ago where I was at in life. I was living in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I had just graduated from college, and I was working in my first full-time job outside of college at the university. And I was very blessed and very grateful to be given that position, but really quickly I recognized that it was not going to be a place where I would feel fulfilled or passionate for a very long period of time. You see, if I were to take you back even further to where I was at when I was a little girl growing up, I grew up in a small town in South Dakota, and I grew up in an entrepreneurial family. In fact, I'm a fourth generation entrepreneur. And I was one of those kids that never really knew what she wanted to be when she grew up. You know, I didn't know at age 5 that I was going to be, wanted to be a teacher, or I didn't know by age 7 that I wanted to be a nurse, or I wasn't one of those children. I knew that I wanted to work with people. That's what I knew. And I knew that I loved people, and that was about it. Growing up, I saw lots and lots of perks and privileges in the entrepreneurial lifestyle from both my father and my grandfather and several other members of our family who owned their own businesses. And so I kind of took mental notes as a young child on those perks and on those privileges. You know, what I can say that I knew as I was growing up is I knew that I wanted to have it all. And I really credit my parents to that for what they infused in me, in raising me to have great self-esteem and great self-confidence. And they were parents that told me, you can do it. You can do it. You can do anything that you put your mind to. You could be anything. You could do anything. You could have anything that you want to be, do, and have, as long as you are willing to do the work and as long as you believe that you can. And so I grew up in that environment. And so I guess you would say that I really did desire to have it all, because not only did I want to have a thriving career when I would grow up, working with people in some capacity and prayerfully making a difference for them, but I also knew that I wanted to have the privilege to be a mom. And that when I would be able to be a mom, that I didn't want to miss all the important things. You know, I didn't want to miss the firsts, and I didn't want to miss the milestones. And I wanted to have choices about which field trips I might go on and when I would go to parent lunch. And I didn't want to have to get permission to take vacation days off when children would be on vacation or on a school break. And so I pictured myself kind of, if you will, with a briefcase in one arm, when those were popular way back then, and a diaper bag in the other. I really wanted to have those things in my life. So fast forward again, back to where I was when I started my business, when I was just out of college and was working full-time at the University of Nebraska. What I saw around me were not women who had those things. I saw women around me that I respected and that I certainly admired, but I would have never wanted to trade places with them. You see, they weren't women who really had it all. They were women who were working really hard. They were women who were really dedicated and really devoted to their careers and to their families. But it was so clear that many of them were frustrated. and they were frazzled and kind of frenzied, and it was very obvious that they and I were underpaid, we were underappreciated, and I also believe that we were underestimated because you see, very few of us were receiving promotions or faced with an opportunity to move up the career path. And so I began to recognize those things early on in that career and really figured out it was not where I wanted to be for a long period of time. You see, I felt like a bird in a cage. You know, when you just want to fly and when you just want to go after something and when you don't want anybody to hold you back, even if you just want to go after it a little bit, you just want to have the freedom to be able to make that decision and be able to move forward. And so I really felt like this bird within a cage, looking out at the world and looking out at all the possibilities that would be in front of me and remembering what my desires were as a little girl. Well, I'll tell you, at the same time, it's funny how the Lord works. You know, He creates often great needs within our life to help kind of prod us, to get us to move forward. And at that same time as I was recognizing those things logically and in my emotional spirit, I also needed to start paying back my student loans from my undergraduate education. And as it was, I had more months than money. Part of being underpaid is that that's a pretty regular occurrence. And so I either had a choice to begin living on visa and to begin to accrue a ton of lifestyle debt, or I had a choice to start something different or to get a part-time job. And I certainly didn't want to get a part-time job. I already had one boss who was a great boss, but I didn't want to have a second boss. And so I decided that I would give the Mary Kay business a try. Now let me share with you what appealed to me most in that season of my life, because there were certain things that spoke so highly to me in that season that I believe do speak highly to most champion-wired people. And I feel that I can use that term openly with you today because I believe that if you're watching today, you're a champion person. Because I know that your consultant is a champion person, and birds of a feather always flock together. And so it is of the greatest compliment that she could ever give you for you to be asked to just watch this little snippet of a little Google Hangout. And so you know what I'm talking about when I'll share these things with you. So the number one thing that I was looking for in the midst of that season of time in my life was powerful people. I wanted to be around powerful people, women mentors that I could not only respect and admire, but I could look up to, I could learn from, I could glean from, women who would maybe take me under their wing and really show me how they were making choices daily to do all of life successfully. Not just running a business successfully, but to do all of life successfully. And I recognize that in Mary Kay women, that there was this commonality, even though they could be different ages, or they could have very different experiences, or come from very different backgrounds, or have different goals that they were working on. The commonality was they were powerful women who were all moving toward something. I call that being on the path of progress. And it's one of the things that I love most about powerful people is that powerful people are on a path of progress. You know, I also wanted to be around people who were powerful in the sense that they knew themselves. They knew themselves. They weren't trying to play to this huge, widespread, worldwide audience, but they were just playing for themselves, kind of an audience of one, themselves and the Lord, knowing what their strengths were, knowing who they were and who they were not. I was inspired by that. I wanted to be with more women who were like that because I didn't want to be a people pleaser and I didn't want to try to run that rat race. And so I loved being with women who were authentic, women who were real, women who understand their own strengths and understand the strengths of others. And so I was empowered to be in an environment like that. You know, I'll share with you, the second thing that really grabbed my attention was the concept of an unlimited opportunity. And, you know, I've always been someone who's like to kind of take something and really run with it. But I like to do that without pressure. I like to do that by my own decision. Maybe you can relate to that. And so I loved it that when I came into my Mary Kay business, I could develop this at whatever pace and with whatever magnitude that I really wanted to. And so I've always shared that Mary Kay is equal to the ambitions of the woman. You can build a small Mary Kay business and make great part-time extra money, or you can build a colossal empire in Mary Kay and build greater wealth than you could ever imagine having in your life. It's whatever you desire. And so I got real excited and real intrigued when I knew that this opportunity was totally unlimited. You know, I remember being very tangibly reminded of that concept. At least it was kind of the first time that I really, really recognized it was so many years ago in my first year in the business that I had the privilege to earn three cars. And of course, you're probably well aware of the company's free car program. And I was just astounded by that the company would award me three cars in just a little over a year. It was actually closer to a year and a half that we had earned those vehicles. And I remember thinking, this truly is an unlimited opportunity and an unlimited experience. And so you might say that as that bird that was once in a cage, I now love to live a life that is like an eagle, where I can just fly and I can accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. Nobody ever holds me back. Instead, everybody is cheering for me and cheering me on and encouraging me to accomplish more and to become more in my own capacity of my own strength of personhood. You know, the third thing that I'll share with you that just grabbed me, grabbed my attention, it grabbed me, was the concept of being able to generate income. And, you know, probably because that was the greatest need that I had in terms of a primary tangible need in that season of my life. And so I was looking for something that could answer the need that I had. And it was a need to have an extra $250 to $275 a month to be able to make that student loan payment. And so when I started my Mary Kay business, you might think of this as just a real small goal, but it was just where my vision was at that time, that I decided that I would go after about $500 a month in profit from my business. I thought if I can make a double student loan payment, I'll have the student loans paid off within a couple of years versus many, many years. And I realized I could probably do about $100 a week. And so, you know, that brings me to the point that some of us start in this business that we don't have any big, huge vision. In fact, back then, if you would have shared with me that I would build a career in Mary Kay and that this would be my life's work and my calling, I probably would have thought that you were crazy. But I took that desire and passion in my heart to be around powerful people, to have a great unlimited opportunity, to be able to generate some new income. And I took that and the ideas in my mind of, I think I can do this. And really all that I brought to the table, gang, at that point in time was the willingness to be comfortable and the willingness to have a great attitude and the love, of course, of people. I wasn't someone who had retail sales experience in my background. I didn't know anything about the industry of skincare and cosmetics, but I am coachable, I am teachable, I have a good attitude, and I do love people. My journey was a quick one. Within 6 months, I had earned my first free car in the company, which financially put me in a flexible position to be able to make the decision at then 24 years old to leave my job that had become unfulfilling and did not tap into my passion or purpose of life, and to step full time into building my Mary Kay business and my Mary Kay career, with the desire at that point, seeing how much it had blessed me, the desire to turn around and to give it to other people so that they could be equally or more so blessed by the experience. Today, as I sit before you from my home office in Omaha, Nebraska, and behind me you see faces of beautiful women. This wall spans the entire wall of my office. It's called the Wall of Fame and features our sales directors. And I think about how richly my family has been blessed through all of these years of being connected with the Mary Kay opportunity. Blessings beyond description. In all of the ways that you would imagine, the freedoms and the flexibilities, the financial freedom, the friendships, the personal growth and professional development, the challenges, the opportunities, the privilege of owning my own business and being able to call the shots, and then some. But what really trips my heart up is when I think about all of these women that are featured all around my office in their pictures and how their families are being impacted by this opportunity and by the courage and the willingness to say, I think I'm ready for a change. I think I'm ready for a change. I want my life to have a change. I don't want to just repeat 2015. I want 2016 to be new and fresh. And so the excitement is that for any one of us, as we pursue new levels of success and new levels of victory, they always begin by making one decision. Wow, I get goosebumps when I think that you have the same opportunity that I did 18 years ago to get a starter kit for, it was $100 then, it's $100 now, and to begin your business and to open a brand new pathway of possibilities for you. My prayers are with you today. I wish you blessings upon you, your life, your family, and I thank you for tuning in today. May 2016 be extremely and abundantly blessed for you. And your special passcode for today is the word victory. Living and leading in victory. Have a great day, gang. Bye-bye.